It's January 1st, 2019. Happy New Year's to everybody who watches and supports Destination Pro Wrestling. My name is Tony, and I like to talk about pro wrestling and play WWE 2K and do interviews and podcasts. And basically today, guys, I wanted to do something cool because we got some good news coming from All Elite Wrestling, which is the new wrestling promotion by the Elite. Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Hangman Page. Marty Scurll is probably going there soon. We don't know for sure, but obviously there's a lot of things that is happening with All Elite Wrestling, and we've been covering it here on Destination Pro Wrestling, which a lot of people are pretty excited for this new promotion. And, you know, I'm excited about it too because I feel like more competition is always a good thing. And these guys, honestly, I feel like they use their platforms correctly. I think for the longest time, you know, everything that you've seen from Cody being on Impact and ROH and obviously New Japan, and you see these guys, you know, I think they've used these platforms as a way to build their brand slowly. And then now they've kind of gotten to the point where, you know, they are successful and hoping to do it under their own umbrella. This is scary for companies like ROH and Impact because ROH and Impact, even though they are alternatives, a lot of people don't know whether or not they can ever get to that point where they can truly compete with WWE. From what it's being said, All Elite Wrestling is being owned and funded by these individuals plus, you know, one of the owners from the Jaguars, which is the NFL team. And having a billionaire on your side is obviously a really, really good thing because, well, you need a billionaire to really compete with WWE. But for the most part, pro wrestling companies tend to lose money. It's not profitable like a lot of people think it is. We know this. We talked about NXT operating at a loss. Obviously, it makes sense for WWE to do that because they're so big, so it's like not a big deal. But for a company like All Elite Wrestling, I'm sure making money is probably their goal, right? You got to be profitable. As much as they probably love wrestling and love the industry, you're going to have to lose a little bit of money, and that could be expected, right? So it's actually not the financial burden of owning a pro wrestling company that is the major problem here. Based on the information we've received so far from this announcement, we don't actually have an idea of how, we don't have any idea or any clues as to how AEW is going to be marketed or distributed. We know through Twitter, you know, they're following a whole bunch of major arenas in the US, which obviously can seat 10, 15, 20,000 plus people. But is this something that they'll actually be able to do right from the jump? And a lot of people don't know the answer to this question because AEW, as great as the idea is, and as great and as much potential as it has, the real question isn't whether or not they get a TV deal. That's already been in discussion. The issue is, how can they turn their product into a really high level quality product that can truly compete with WWE? Because if they're doing this to compete with ROH or Impact, they can do that. Anybody can do that, right? But if you're trying to go against the machine, being WWE, you're going to need money, and you're going to need a lot of resources that will make your product get there. Now, I am under the belief that AEW at this point in time does have a possible TV deal with a major distributor, a major network on US cable. And I'm sure international deals as well. And the reason for that is because you take what these guys have done elsewhere and what they're doing with Being the Elite and Hot Topic and everything, they have a serious brand. So now the question goes down to whether or not we see them on TV. Now, as of right now, they haven't announced a TV deal, but this is a major problem because If they do what Impact just recently did and sign to a network like Pursuit, they might not get the viewership that they're looking for. If they do what ROH does and they're on syndicated TV, and, you know, with ROH, for a lot of people, it's actually not as easy finding their content on, you know, TV, depending on where you live. So if they go the ROH route, they're going to have another issue. But again, they have a billionaire. So they have a billionaire backing their product. So the major problem right now is that for a company that has so much hype, there's very little info about it. Now, you're probably thinking the announcement was just a day ago. And that's absolutely correct. But with a company like All Elite Wrestling, it's been talked about for months. I would say a good 4 or 5 months. There's been this idea that AEW is coming out. We need to really know more about this product and their direction and their roster. And we need to know more about what they're going to offer that's different from WWE. Again, investors and advertisers, they do not want to lose their money. Advertisers have a very, very, very hard time advertising with pro wrestling companies. And that's obviously the reason for WWE going PG. So we've kind of gotten to this point where we have a new company who is ready to go. I'm sure they'll have a sweet TV deal. You know, me personally, I could see them going on Access. People have told me no, they're not going to go on Access TV because they don't want to compete against New Japan. But with everything that Jeannie Buss is doing with Access TV, and obviously Mark Cuban, you know, with all the pro wrestling and fights and stuff, I feel like Access TV would be a good television partner, but I'm not sure if that network is big enough to have AEW truly compete with WWE. But I can sense that AEW may potentially have something even bigger lined up. You know, is this a situation where we get pro wrestling on TNT or TBS? Is this a situation where AEW has their own live television show every Wednesday? Or is this a situation where AEW is just monthly pay-per-views with indie stars? See, this is the thing. We don't know enough about All Elite Wrestling. We know it's a thing. We know that it exists, but we don't know a lot. And that's a huge problem right out of the gate. I hate to compare this to technology, but I think it was like a year or 2 years ago where Apple teased the idea of something called Air Power. And you're probably thinking, what the hell does this have to do with pro wrestling? But it's like Apple knew they were coming out with something sick and something that had so much potential. They talked about it and teased it. But it's been like 2 years and we haven't seen the product. That's not going to happen with AEW. But we don't want to run into an issue where All Elite Wrestling gets completely overhyped, only to find out that they're going to be, you know, televised on WGN America or something, or MyTV20, or, you know, just some channel that's not big. Like, these are issues that pro wrestling companies have. Impact Wrestling is moving to a network that most people, they're probably not excited about. Now, me personally, I was always a fan of Spike TV, Paramount Network. I love that they're doing stuff with Bellator. I know they don't want to be in the pro wrestling world, but that would be a good TV deal for All Elite Wrestling to get their jump start. But this is a major problem, guys. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what it is. We know it's a thing. We know it exists, but we really don't know what All Elite Wrestling is. And that's a major problem in its own. And on top of that, there's talks about, yeah, there might be a TV deal, but they don't technically have one yet. A TV deal is going to be make or break. And it could very well be make or break to the point where, you know, if you don't have a good one, you won't succeed. TNA went from Spike TV to all these other crappy networks. Destination America, Pop TV, Pursuit Channel. I mean, that's an issue. And obviously, I think AEW right off the jump should be better than what Impact and ROH are providing. So it almost makes sense for me that All Elite Wrestling could potentially be something huge. And I think it will be. I do think it will be. I don't know if it will be as big as WWE, because I think WWE pretty much controls the market. But if AEW is a weekly episodic pro wrestling promotion that distributes content live, not pre-taped, but if it's live content, and they do pay-per-views every month, and they have an exclusive roster that's kick-ass, and their production quality is very, very good, then All Elite Wrestling will be a major force in the wrestling industry. But with all of these months of hype, to hear very, very little right now, it's like they should have just came out with a bang. But then again, we still got time. We'll see what happens. We'll see what changes. And I'm excited about that. Let me know what you guys think. My name is Tony from Destination Pro Wrestling, at Tango with Ango on Twitter. And best of luck to these guys. I think it's going to be really cool. Whatever issue or problems that I personally see right now, I think they will do 100 times better, going forward. But I don't want to be disappointed. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Destination Pro Wrestling on YouTube. Pro wrestling news, gaming, and live content. Click that subscribe button. We'll see you guys soon.